Before I start, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Waharakah Kadash, double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel who rule and teach well, and the Iris and byways and those pushing videos in truth and sincerity, to the brothers and sisters in the truth. Now, I came across this video here, and as I was watching it, it's like, it was interesting to find out some of the things that Esau was saying about us, because he's always putting us down as a people, so forth. But then in this video, you hear how he terms having melanin. We know that melanin is something which you need to protect you from the sun, regardless of whether it's cloudy or it's really sunny outside. There's always a violet, and melanin helps protect you from that. So this is something that you actually need to survive on the planet. But we're going to listen to what Esau has to say about having melanin, and it shows you that he's actually a deceiver, and he knows the benefits of melanin, but because he's always trying to put us down, which is why he says some of the things that he does, being the deceiver that he is.
He is worshipped in the medical world, J. Mary Sims. But I was more curious about how a physician could do such a thing. And here's how you do it. You pathologize the people. Now, let me read what they say about black women, because it gets real specific, black women. Their first pathological symptom was their skin color. In a medical world that categorized life as either normal or pathological, people of the African diaspora were continually condemned to the category of pathological, their abnormal skin serving as a foil for normal white skin. Stay with me.
So Esau is trying to say us having melanin, makes our skin abnormal, and it serves as a foil over normal white skin.
The skin, if you see black people, the problem is the skin itself is pathological because it's actually a foil over normal white skin. This is what medical journals suggested. Now we're going to find out how to name it. Medical tradition has a long history of perceiving this skin color as a form of the favorite theory, which reappears with some frequency in the early 19th century, is that the skin anatomy of the black, here's the reason why y'all black, is because of congenital leprosy.
You hear that? So Esau is trying to say the reason why we're the color we are, melanated brown skin, is because we have congenital leprosy. Now, let's have a look at this article here. And this, now you know that Esau is, the deceiver, because you actually need melanin to survive on this planet, man. And there's always ultraviolet rays about when you're outside. You can't escape it, whether it's sunny or whether it's not sunny. It's just that if it's not sunny, there's not that much of it about, but it's always there. So this role of melanin against UV damage in human skin. It says human skin is repeatedly exposed to ultraviolet radiation that influences the function and survival of many cell types and is regarded as the main causative factor in the induction of skin cancer. So not having melanin makes you more susceptible to having skin cancer. It has been traditionally believed that skin pigmentation is the most important photoprotective factor, since melanin, besides functioning as a broadband UV absorbent, as antioxidant and radical scavenging properties. Besides, many epidemiological studies have shown a lower incidence for skin cancer in individuals with darker skin compared to those with fair skin. So having dark skin, melanin in your skin, is not a bad thing, as Esau tries to make out. Now, this is images of white ultraviolet light. Yeah, and you can see under the ultraviolet light, they don't look too good. It shows up all the impurities. Yeah. But Esau would have you believe that you having melanin is a bad thing. Look at these images. Doesn't look too good. This guy here, the reason why he looks like this is because he's got sunscreen on. That's what the sunscreen does. It protects you, and look how his skin looks better with the sunscreen. Now this is images of black people under ultraviolet light. Yeah, look, her skin looks beautiful still. Now let me actually type it and get some more up. Yeah. So us having melanin is a good thing, whereas Esau, we believe it's a bad thing. Look, the sister looks beautiful, even under the ultraviolet, whereas Esau, on the other hand, don't look as good under the ultraviolet. Yeah, and that's how Esau deceives. You know, he calls it but let's see what the scriptures actually say. How the scriptures define leprosy. Now this is Leviticus chapter 13. And Slack, what is this always happening? Slacker Israel. Leviticus 13 and I start at 9. It says, when the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the skin, and it hath turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising. It is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. Verse 12. And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that has the plague from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh. So this person now, leprosy is covering their whole body. You know, no pigmentation is showing. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy hath covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean. That has the plague, it is all turned white, he is clean. So when you read the Bible, you know, if all your skin, if you have no pigmentation at all, there is a plague, you know, known as leprosy. But because it covers the whole of your body, you're deemed clean. But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean, and the priest shall see the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean, for the raw flesh is unclean, it is a leprosy. So when so-called Caucasian get sunburnt, that's when you see raw flesh. Then they become unclean until it heals. So them trying to say, you know, having melanin is you know, calling it leprosy. When we read the scriptures, that's totally false. And I'm sure they know this, but you know, Esau has a tendency of trying to put Jake down. So therefore, they'll turn everything around. What's good, they'll deem to be not good. Now, this is Numbers chapter 12. I'll read verse 1, then jump down. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. So they were speaking against Moses. Verse 9, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. It doesn't say that she became dark skinned, no melanated, so that she became white as snow. So she lost her pigment. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead. So this is how Aaron referred to Miriam when she became leprous. Yeah, when she lost her pigmentation. It says, let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. When we read the scriptures, to not have melanin, that is biblical leprosy. Yeah, not have, having melanin is deemed normal because you need that to survive under the sun. It protects you from the UV ray. Now, this incident here is of a captain of the Syrian guard called Naaman who had leprosy. And a young Israelite maid said if he had gone to one of the prophets, he'll be able to help him get rid of the leprosy. So he ends up going to Elisha. Elisha tells him to dip himself 7 times in the river Jordan. He ends up doing it. The leprosy leaves him. He becomes clean. And he wants to give Elisha some goods, but Elisha turns it down. Now Elisha has a servant called Gehazi who was greedy. So this is 2 Kings 5:20. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of the Most High, said, Behold, my master has spared Naaman the Syrian in not receiving at his hand that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat off him. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him, and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well. My master had sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver, and 2 changes of garments. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags, with 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand, and bestowed them in the house. And he let the men go, and they departed. But he went in, and stood before his master. And Elisha said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, Thy servant went nowhere, no whither. And he said unto him, Went not mine heart with thee? So Elisha knew in the spirit what he had done. It says, When the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee, is it a time to receive money, and to receive garments, and olive yards, and vineyards, and sheep, and oxen, and men servants, and maid servants? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. So this guy here now, Gehazi, he's got descendants walking around today who looks like so-called white people, Europeans, because the curse that was put on him is that him and his seed will be leprous. Yeah, and how did it describe it? It says leper as white as snow. So having melanin is not a bad thing as Esau likes to make out. We know that it's needed to survive under the sun, to protect you from the UV rays. And as we read in the article, not having melanin means that you're more likely to pick up skin cancer. Getting sunburn, yeah, brings out the raw flesh, and that makes you unclean. This is why they normally use sunscreen to protect them from the sun, and what that does, it acts like melanin. That's what. Let me see if I can find that image again of that white guy whose face was darkish. That's because he had on uh, sunscreen. Um, but yeah, look at this image now. How sunscreen. So this is a white woman with sunscreen on. So it darkens her up. Yeah, that's what it does. It protects you from the UV rays. Yeah. So having melanin is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. But Esau would have you believe that it's a bad thing. Like, so with that, I'm going to close out. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Wahara Kadash, Kwame Sha'ala.